Hi, everybody. All right, someone gave me this from Sputnik, and this is what it's basically saying: is Germany fears some kind of a massive terror attack, and that basically the idea is calling for I don't know at what level, but people to start stockpiling resources and everything. And this hasn't been done since the first Cold War. And I imagine World War II, they did something similar in Germany that we were doing in the U.S. with, material goods as far as aluminum and stuff. So I imagine, the idea that you're going to be stockpiling food and everything because your government is about to go under from the Muslim terrorists is the government guys won't handle the situation, close down the banks and everything else. So now everybody's got to play the game all the way out, and this is just bullshit. Germany to call for stockpiling food and water, fearing catastrophic terror strike. Germany is on high terror alert around or following another round of attacks that have shocked the country, leading Germany to urge citizens to stockpile resources. For the first time since the Cold War, German government plans to tell citizens to stockpile food and water in case of a catastrophic attack. The Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung newspaper reported Sunday that the country finds itself in high alert after two Islamic attacks and a shooting rampage by someone they're claiming was an unstable teenager. The country has also announced its plans to allocate a considerable sum or additional resources to police and security forces to create a special cybercrime and terrorism unit. Why they don't already have that, I have no idea. So they're calling this under a concept of civil defense, so no doubt at some point or another, these guys, ladies and gentlemen, would declare martial law, go in and, take guns, and I don't think Germany has guns, but you guys get the idea, whatever their policy is. They'll go in and take the steak knives or whatever. Anyways, German Interior Minister titled Concept and Defense is saying that the population will be obliged to hold an individual supply of food for 10 days. Ladies and gentlemen, that is an insane amount of food and preparations. I don't know if you know this, but I've kind of toyed with it. I have had a couple bags of, filled with rations and stuff, and I even ziplocked them, per meal and everything. And that really is the best way to go, is to ziplock your stuff. I mean, you have a couple like pudding cups or stuff like that. You have your main meal, and then you have like an Arizona iced tea or something that isn't carbonated, because the carbonation would spoil and everything, and it would be really bad. But I had a good amount of that, and that was very heavy. So the idea that they're basically calling it for 10 days really is up there. And we all know the Interior Ministry noted that the plan was to be discussed by Chancellor Merkel's cabinet on Wednesday before the presented minister, or before being presented to the minister this afternoon, and they declined to provide additional information on the matter. So probably some kind of false flag that they're working on, but hasn't really come to fruition yet because they can't get people to do it, or who knows what it is. But even Germany's defense ministry is saying that earlier this month, Germany now finds itself in the crosshairs of terrorism, calling on the security forces to train closely with police and prepare for a large-scale terror strike. So you don't need me to tell you anything more than this. I mean, this is what it is right here, folks. And it's just getting to be that bad, folks. Germany calls for stockpiling food, water, and other emergency provisions. It's very, very bad. And, what I wouldn't give to be in command of a SWAT team that I could go in and just, go into these buildings holding these billionaires like Soros and just arrest them. Put them in a county jail, cut all their money off, and leave them, to their own vices and be done with it. But these guys won't go and arrest these guys, because if they do, the global agenda falls apart. Well, that's kind of what we need to happen. So we're going to see more of this shit until some CERT team for the FBI or something else has the kahunas to go above and beyond his paycheck and go into like the Bilderberg meetings and go in and just arrest, the 300 billionaires that are involved in that and say, okay, guys, guess what? We all have warrants for you, or we suspect you under an International Security Act, under a National Advisory of the United States, yada, 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 to be funding and, radicalizing all of these changes in our world. And that's exactly what they're doing. And basically arrest all the super bankers and be done with it. We wouldn't have any major progress for 10 years, but guess what? All that cronyism would stop. I mean, our private companies would still develop stuff. People would still be there to develop the roads. So, I mean, all our regular stuff would still happen. As long as nobody went apeshit crazy. But this is what Germany's doing, folks. So, something's going on. Thank you. I mean, 10 days is a lot, folks. Especially if you're in a situation, 10 days will be whether or not you live or die. So, I mean, if you're used to chowing down, 3 big burgers a day, ain't gonna happen. You're gonna be on porridge and ramen noodles, or grilled cheese or something. All right, guys. Thank you.